Anyone who's seen photos of the German army in World War I has seen their iconic pointed helmets called the Pickelhaube. At first glance, the distinctive spike seems to have served no practical purpose. After all, use of the helmets on the battlefield was abolished during World War I. This raises the question, what was the point of the Pickelhaube in the first place? Prior to the Pickelhaube, nearly every army in Europe wore some sort of Napoleonic-era shakos. These shakos offered nearly no head protection and were cumbersome to wear in wet conditions as they easily soaked up rain. The pressed leather Pickelhaube was designed as an updated solution to the conical shako hats that would protect soldiers as well as help identify and decorate them. A popular story states that in 1840, the Prussian king Frederick Wilhelm IV, while visiting his brother-in-law Tsar Nicholas I of Russia, happened to see the prototype for a new helmet on the Tsar's desk. The leather helmet with a spike was supposedly patterned after an ancient helmet found by a Russian farm girl on the old battlefield of Lipetsk. The helmet was said to have belonged to Yaroslav Vsevolodovich, the Duke of Moscow in the 12th century. King Frederick was so taken with the helmet that upon returning home to Prussia, he demanded that his army design their own version of the spiked helmet. The Prussian War Ministry began seeking designs for the helmet in late 1840. By March 1841, the first prototype spiked helmet was presented to the army. This helmet was designed for use by the mounted cuirassiers and was made entirely of metal. Field trials were very complimentary of the size, weight, protection, and versatility of the new helmet style. The War Ministry immediately began serious development of the helmet design. Although the first prototype was made of metal for the cuirassiers, it was the leather pattern helmet designed for the infantry and artillery that was first put into use in late 1842. The leather helmet was used by regiments of infantry, grenadier, fusilier, artillery, pioneer, Jaeger, and dragoons. The original metal spiked helmet was adopted for use by the cuirassiers in 1843. The helmet body was made of heavy vegetable tanned and pressed leather. The body was conical in shape and sewn together in the back. The front visor was square cut and edged with a 1 centimeter wide metal trim. The back visor was plain leather. All exterior leather was lacquered black. The helmet was crowned with a 14 centimeters tall spike mounted in the middle of a crossed base. The front emblem for regiments of the line was the Prussian heraldic eagle. Guard regiments wore a spread-winged eagle with the silver star of the Black Eagle Order on the bird's breast. Grenadier regiments wore the heraldic eagle with the intertwined royal monogram FWR on the eagle's breast. The helmet was made to showcase the power and wealth of the Germanic Empire, with ornate details and powerful symbolism. The spike itself was used to deflect saber blows, keeping soldiers safe. It has been widely speculated that the spike on the helmets was to be used as a weapon of last resort, which is not the case. The spike was defensive and ceremonial, not offensive. Try as I might, I was never able to find an account of one being used as a weapon, but if you know of any such cases, I would love to hear about them in the comments below. Before the First World War, the military's opinion of their own helmet was widely positive. Kaiser Wilhelm II dearly loved the pomp and ceremony associated with his great army. His interest in military fashion helped develop the spiked helmet into an art form by the turn of the century. Colorful uniforms and elaborate parades were intended to give the German public pride in their national army. During this time, many elite regiments received special helmet banners to glorify their rich history or feats of valor, and young officers competed on who could have the tallest spike. The helmet itself became lighter and the metal trim more elaborate. However, the helmet was greeted with sarcasm and mockery, even by German civilians. The unicorn-style helmet was commonly perceived as grandiose and superficial. In his 1843 satiric poem, Germany, A Winter's Tale, the famous poet Heinrich Heine likened the Pickelhaube to a lightning rod.
Yes, I like the helmet. It demonstrates the loftiest wit. A kingly inspiration it was, complete with a point and tip. I'm just afraid a storm will come, and only too easily hit that romantic crown of yours with a fancy lightning blitz.
By the time the First World War began, it was clear the supposedly modern Pickelhaube did not function well in battle. Although it might have been useful for dodging swords, the helmet failed to stand the test of modern firepower. Examples from the Bavarian Army Museum in Ingolstadt demonstrate that the helmet was practically useless against bullets, and even more so against shell fragments. Gleaming helmet spikes also presented ideal targets for snipers, which led to several modifications designed to disguise the helmet, including covers and removable spikes. Even more detrimental than the physical drawbacks of the Pickelhaube was the material cost. The brass used to make fittings and buckles was needed to make crucial shells for artillery and rifles. Manufacturers weren't able to obtain enough leather to create the helmet, as the Allies had placed embargoes on hides. It simply took too many high-demand resources and too much manpower to create a helmet which was no longer serving its intended purpose of keeping soldiers safe. The Pickelhaube could also prove dangerous to its own wearer in battle. A 1924 German surgical book described one case of a soldier wearing a Pickelhaube sustaining a severe injury when his helmet spike became stuck in the earth as he fell down. The trauma resulted in a ruptured spleen. After remaining in use by German military forces for over 70 years, Prussian military leaders were forced to abandon the Pickelhaube during World War I. Demands for bulletproof and shrapnel-resistant helmets beginning in 1914 resulted in the creation of the Stahlhelm, a far more practical invention, which first appeared on the front lines in 1916 and was in widespread use by 1917. Today, the Pickelhaube lives on through photographs and historic relics. One last interesting snippet I found in my research was the surprising prevalence of Pickelhaubes you can purchase right now online. There are plenty for sale, ranging from under $100 to over $7,000. There are even many seemingly legitimate helmets for sale on eBay, but I would recommend doing your own research on their authenticity. If you enjoyed this video, we would love it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribed. If you have any questions or know anything else you'd like to share, please leave it in the comments below. We will be actively responding to all of them. Thanks for watching, and we hope you click back soon.